if I told you the question we have been asking our kids for generations is the wrong one? What if chasing who they will be someday is stealing joy from who they are today? Stick around till the end, because today's mindset shift could change the way you teach, parent, and live. But first, let me take you down memory lane. I can still picture it. The chalky scent of the blackboard, the worn feeling of the wooden chair beneath me as I sat with my feet swinging just above the floor. My teacher stood at the front of the classroom, her voice echoing off the walls as she asked each of us the question we all heard before. What do you want to be when you grow up? The answers came rolling in like a well-rehearsed script. Doctor, lawyer, ballerina. Some were loud, some unsure. But each child, one after another, named a future version of themselves they could barely imagine. Well, it was my turn. I froze for a second. You see, my mom had always told me that happiness was the most important thing in life. I could still hear her words ringing in my ears. Whatever you do, honey, make sure it makes you happy. So when the teacher asked what I wanted to be, I wasn't thinking about the future at all. I was daydreaming about the moment. The warmth of the sun streaming through the windows, the excitement of recess just around the corner, and the sweet anticipation of going home to play. So I answered, happy. Simple, bold, unapologetically present. The teacher, slightly puzzled, looked at me and said, I don't think you understood the assignment. And with the kind of simple but shocking wisdom only a child can deliver, I looked up and replied, maybe you don't understand life? Okay, full disclosure. In real life, I said I wanted to be an attorney. And that dream came true. But let's just say happiness is not guaranteed in a law office. Happy would have been a bold, brave answer, but it actually belongs to John Lennon. And the story still gives me goosebumps because it makes me wonder, what if we spent less time worrying about the future and more time embracing the joy, the beauty, and the wonder of today? What if we stopped asking our children what they wanted to become and started focusing on who they are right now? As a homeschooling mom, you're likely bombarded with advice: how to prepare your child, how to raise independent thinkers, how to get them ready to read, lead, and thrive. But what about today, right now, this moment? What about the child standing in front of you, covered in paint, giggling with laughter, full of raw curiosity and tender questions? What about them, just as they are? Because here is something wild to consider. We cannot even expect a high schooler to know who they want to be. Seriously, science backs this up. The part of the brain responsible for long-term planning and big life decisions, the prefrontal cortex, does not fully develop until mid-20s. That means the cognitive ability to make a clear, confident career decision is literally still under construction until they graduate high school. Yet, we hand them college brochures, SAT prep books, and say, all right, what's the plan? In fact, a recent study published in the Frontier in Education found that most teens struggle with something called career decision-making difficulties. And no surprise, those struggles are linked to lack of readiness, a lack of information, and the bigger one, pressure. Pressure to know, to choose, to commit. And it's not just gut feeling. The numbers back it up. The Best College 2023 student survey found that more than half of high school students, 52% to be exact, feel stressed out or uncertain about choosing a career path too early. So, if we are asking teenagers to define themselves before their brain is fully baked, how much more grace should we give our toddlers and preschoolers, our kindergartners, our beautiful, growing little humans? What if instead of rushing their future, we become protectors of their present? What if our job isn't to map their entire journey, but to hold space for the part they're in right now? To witness their becoming, one question, one wonder, one messy, magical moment at a time. Because when we ask our children what they want to be, we are accidentally anchoring them to a future version of themselves they cannot even imagine yet. But what if the real magic happens when we ask them who they are right now? What brings them joy today? What are they curious about this morning, before breakfast is even served? You see, neuroscience tells us that children under 7 live almost entirely in the present moment. Their brains are wired for curiosity, exploration, and soaking up life like sponges dipped in glitter. In fact, research from Harvard Center on a Developing Child shows that during these early years, a child's brain forms over 1 million new neural connections every second, just from playing, asking, trying, failing, and trying again. This stage is not just cute, it's foundational. It's how their identity is being built brick by beautiful brick. So why are we pushing them toward the future when they're already thriving in the now? What if we stopped obsessing over the outcome and started falling in love with the process? What if the goal wasn't to raise a polished child with flawless transcript, but a whole human who knows they're loved, safe, and free to be exactly who they are right now? That kind of becoming. It happens in the present. It happens at the kitchen table. It happens in the chaos when you show up not perfect, but present. So maybe we've been asking the wrong question. Not what do you want to be when you grow up, but instead, who are you becoming today, sweetheart? Or better yet, how can I love and support who you are right here, right now? Because when we give our children permission to live fully in this moment, we're not holding them back. We're setting them free. And when we start to honor our own presence, we realize we are becoming too. So, my sweet friend, stay present, stay soft, and stay curious. Because the real lesson, it's not about who they will become. It's about who they are today and who you are in this sacred, fleeting moment. Okay, my sweet friend, thank you so much for spending your time with me today. And if today's episode touched your heart, I would love for you to share it with another mama walking this journey. You see, we are in this together. And sometimes the smallest shift in perspective can open the biggest door. Okay, my sweet friend, until next time, with all my love.